It's not the Weekly Pull, it's Absolute Comics, the soda pop, now low fat. Anyway, Absolute Comics Zero? Diet Absolute Comics. No? Okay. It's me and Sal. I'm Benny. I'm also known as the Comic Storian. I do a lot of comic book stuff. That is Sal for the team of Comic Pop. He's the head honcho over there. And we come together every Tuesday. I know it's Wednesday. We come together every Tuesday right here at the Comic Storian Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Comic Storian, to bring you another podcast discussing the news within the world of comic books. It then gets uploaded to our Comic Storian Podcast Network YouTube channel that I really should get some graphics made up for. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget our as-going normal sponsor. If you want this show to continue and you want Sal and I, mostly Sal because I kind of fund all the stuff for this. If you want Sal to get paid, make sure you go to our sponsor, G Fuel, and use the code COMICS at checkout, or subscribe right here at Twitch, or go to the Patreons, patreon.com/comicstorian or patreon.com/comic-pop. That's how you support the show. It's how you keep us going. It's how you keep us coming back here on a weekly basis. Sal, as we said, there's no excuses for us to miss an episode now unless something actually bad happens. It's a good thing it actually didn't happen yesterday. My cat swallowed a rubber band.
I heard that. I'm really sorry to hear that. Hopefully it all worked out. I didn't see the follow-up.
I mean, the follow-up, I basically tweeted out that we had to spend $4,000 to fix the cat. A lot of people were like, what was the result of that? And I assumed everyone realized that, that was the result.
It was fixed.
The cat's okay, and I paid $4,000.
Well, the fact is, you pay $4,000 regardless of whether it worked out or not. That's the real problem.
Okay, that's true. That's true. So what happened is, we were cleaning up yesterday, and a rubber band hit the ground, and Fang, the kitten, was running over it, and she grabbed it and started playing with it. And we didn't think anything of it. It's a cat playing with a rubber band.
Yeah.
Whatever, And she played with it for a little while, and then we looked over, and she basically lifted it up and went, gulp. Like, wait, what?
Oh, my God.
And so Natalie is like, what do we do? And I'm like, call the vet. And the vet's like, that's an ER trip. Go to the pet ER.
Oh, my God.
If you don't know what a pet ER is, it's just a shit ton of money.
Yes. Yeah. Normally, you have to go to it on the weekends because, that's invariably when your pet gets sick. But I'm glad to hear that.
Always. Yeah. So anyway, we get to the pet ER and we drop off the cat, and they're like, well, we have records here that your cat possibly has a heart murmur. So we're going to need to do heart imaging before we can give her any Ipecac to, throw it up, or have to potentially do surgery. So how about we give her the heart imaging and x-rays? That alone is going to cost you about $2,000.
Right.
Now, here's the problem. We could have just said, screw the heart imaging and taken the risk of having a heart murmur. But she has to go in for knee surgery in 2-3 months. That's a degenerative issue. We just have to get fixed. That's not a problem. She didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They just want to they want her to get fully grown.
Right.
So it was like, well, crap. We have to get the imaging either way, or they won't fix her knee. And we do want to get her knee fixed so she's not limping.
Right.
Fine, we'll do that. So they go through all of that, and they're like, oh, great news. The rubber band is in the stomach and hasn't gone into the lower intestine, so the surgery is just going to be opening her mouth wide open and digging in there. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Okay, cool. They're like, and that'll only cost anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 more. And I'm like, what?
I guess
because apparently, because they didn't know about the heart murmur yet, they had the imaging, but they needed the cardiologist on call.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
At this point, you might as well get the pet insurance, or do you have it already?
So there is a silver lining to this. Now, Shiva, our other cat, does have pet insurance. We were told that they would deny us her pet insurance because Fang has a heart murmur. After all of this, now that they've done the imaging, she doesn't have a heart murmur. She's just hyperactive, and it sounds like one because she's so small.
Okay.
So that means we can now officially get pet insurance to cover the knee.
The knee, but not this past experience.
Not this. That's not how insurance works, Sal. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah. No, I'm very familiar with how insurance works, unfortunately. So I'm very happy to hear. I'm relieved to hear that Fang is okay.
Yes, she is okay.
That's great.
She's already running around upstairs. The only downside is she came back from the vet, and we looked it up, and I guess the smell threw Shiva off. So now Shiva just sees her as an enemy and is hissing at her until she smells normal again.
Yeah, we've had that problem as well. If they spend any significant time at the vet, they could change their smell, and if cats are territorial or if they don't have years of experience, even if they do have years of experience, they could still perceive them as an outside cat or a new cat, despite how obviously not new it is. We counteract it by just literally bringing them all to the vet. At least we did when one of our cats, who no longer is with us, had that problem. when any of the other cats had to go to the vet, we'd bring her too, because she's the problem cat. So we'd be like, well, come on. And she's like, but I don't have to go anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, but you're also going to be a pain in the ass later when they come home and you don't perceive who they are. So let's go.
Yeah. She was already kind of calming down with the whole thing, but like she'll just have these couple of... And I picked up Fang, and I'm like, oh yeah, she smells like medical supplies. Because she was on the surgery table.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she has the whole...
Yeah, no, she needs to get used to smelling like herself again. And, so it's basically going to be square one, which is no fun.
Yep. So, all right, Sal, I don't have Discord. Oh, I can open on my phone. All right, cool.
Yeah, no, I got the topics in front of me, too, if you want to talk about
so what is today's number one topic so we can move through and get ready for Mr. Zub?
First impressions of WandaVision.
So I put this on my community post, which, by the way, Sal, I was told by YouTube, and I'm putting this publicly out there for you all. If you want your videos to be in the algorithm, you need to make stories, make short-form content, and make community posts. And if you're not doing them all, YouTube just ignores you. So...
Cool. Yeah. Great.
Right. It's already a problem because they only recommend my videos to people they think will watch the whole video.
Right.
Like if you guys are wondering why my views are down, that's why. But here's the flip side. They do show it to people who watch the whole video. So those people watch every ad. So it like evens out. I don't understand what's going on, but I'm not fighting it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Isn't that what subscribing is for? But okay, whatever.
I thought it was.
It's
because you know what? If you just give it to all of my 2 million subs, maybe 1% of them watch the whole video, but I'm pretty certain that other like 20% that would click the video would probably get to at least one ad. Yeah. I'm just saying to YouTube, I think it'll work out if you do it the way we all thought YouTube should work.
Exactly. I'm convinced, by the way, that they broke something like in 2017, and they've just spent the last 3 years or 4 years trying to fix it.
They were like,
funny. We're going to add this new feature. Oh my God, it completely broke everything. Okay, well, we'll just fix it one step at a time. Oops. And if you've ever done like data analytics, or if you've ever done coding, it's like, oops, I fixed that code. Oh, broke that. Oh, broke that. Oh, broke that one. And it just becomes this spider web of broken code until the whole damn website just comes, just hard reset it, roll it back to 2016.
Exactly. If those are wondering, it's why I do mostly 20-minute or longer videos now, because according to YouTube, the people that do watch the videos will watch the bulk of the video. So, okay, well, if you guys are the ones that want the 30-minute videos and you'll sit through 5 ads, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all I could say, like, okay, like, here's 5 issues of King in Black in one sitting.
I mean, I'll be happy to give it to you. So
exactly, like, if you guys are going to watch it, I will make it. Like, that's fine. My editors hate you all right now.
Sure. That's what I pay them for. So
I pay them to hate on you. Anyway.
Right. So WandaVision.
So I posted on my community tab. I'm not... So here's my... I don't like WandaVision right now. But I do like WandaVision right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So... Each episode's like 22 minutes long. I know it says 31, but it's got like 7 minutes of goddamn credits in that goddamn show.
And it's like, put a thing at the end of the credits, for God's sake.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one I sat through. The second one I was like, nope.
Yep. Once it came up, I'm like, no, you fool me once.
You don't get the credit length of a movie. I'm sorry.
No.
So anyway, I started watching it, and I'd say probably about 5 minutes of each episode I was really enthralled with.
Yes.
Really enthralled with. The other 15, I didn't care for.
Right.
I get the joke. I like I Love Lucy. I like sitcom humor. I do. I like the Dick Van Dyke Show. I used to watch this stuff with my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I don't sit down and watch right now, Sal?
Those shows.
I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke.
I do watch Dick Van Dyke now, and by the way, damn good show. But I did not sit down. My original plan when I was going to watch WandaVision was not to watch those shows.
Exactly.
But I don't know what I was thinking, though, because that's exactly what they told us it was going to be.
They did, and that's why I'm not against it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just really wanted to do a call-out comedy sitcom show, but they realized that if that was all they did, we would hate it. So they had to pepper in the mystery. Now, I get a feeling the mystery is going to pick really up at episode 6. But I don't... The problem I have with the show right now is if you're not interested in the boss dinner plot and you're not interested in the talent show, there's 15 minutes of boring show in there.
I think I know what the problem is. And let me like throw this out for you. I think that Winter Soldier Falcon was supposed to come out first, and I think that as a result, that was going to be like because this is the first new thing for Phase 4, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of weird, and I think that Falcon Winter Soldier was supposed to be first, which is very familiar. You know, look at these two fighting Nazis or whatever. I don't know, Hydra. So and that would be very like, yes, okay, back to basics. Here's some characters I like and remember. Let's do this. And then WandaVision was going to come out for the people who are like, yeah, I've seen that already. What else you got? So that you're like, I mean, I'm on board for WandaVision because I already liked Falcon Winter Soldier. But now it's like, well, I hope all of you Marvel Cinematic Universe fans are down for WandaVision because that's the first thing we're getting. And it's like not meant to be the first thing you're supposed to see from the new MCU. That being said, I do dig it. And I do appreciate it because I think what they're trying to do is something kind of like... I think they're trying to like metatextually talk about like television because it is like the first time that Marvel Studios is producing a show, notwithstanding all the shows produced using the Marvel brand. I think that this is them being like, let's talk about TV and what TV is, especially since like TV is totally different from when it started, not only just in TV, but also for us. And it's like, oh, like you're doing this kind of thing couched in a narrative about two broken, lost people. Neat. But I don't think that was meant for everyone right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. It's actually what I think. I was reading an article and I agree with it. That a lot of people are giving 1984 a lot of crap because it's the first superhero movie we've had in almost a year.
Yeah.
So we were expecting something bigger, better. I don't think Wonder Woman would have gotten as much crap if it did come in alongside Black Widow and everything. It would just get compared and moved on, and that would have been the end of that.
I think if Black Widow
because
sucks,
we have all this time,
they would be like, I think that if Black Widow sucked, they'd be like, oh my God, and it would get as much hate as it has gotten.
True.
You know?
But you know what I'm saying.
But yes.
And I think that I agree with you. I don't think WandaVision was supposed to be first, but it just happened to be.
Yep.
I am interested where this plot is going to go.
Yeah.
I am. I'm going to watch it all the way through, even if I didn't have a job for this. Because the Pleasant Valley, the whole
the Pleasant
mystery
Hill.
I do.
Yeah.
The Pleasant Hill. I like that whole mystery. I do. I just personally feel like we didn't need it's literally like the mystery and a whole sitcom plot.
Yes.
And I don't think we needed the whole. You could have done in that first episode. The first 20 minutes could have both been the black and white, and then the Bewitched, and we moved on.
Yes.
You could have worked more shows in that way and taken like that talent show plot and wrapped it into a 10-minute thing.
Yeah.
Might have felt a little more rushed. Maybe the pacing, and maybe that's adding to the slow burn.
Right.
But I do feel like we would have gotten closer to what we were looking for as opposed to what we're getting.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but I don't think that's what they want to do. You know, like that they're not trying to
obviously,
for them it's not like cut to the chase. For them this is the chase. They're like, "No, I want to talk about TV. I want to talk about these shows." Like by episode 2 and I was like, "Oh, each episode is going to be a whole episode in this era." I was like, man, there are going to be some angry people watching this show.
That's exactly what I thought. Because so when I started up episode 1, I'm like, okay, so the first episode is going to set up the concept. That's we're stuck in like a TV kind of thing. It's in black and white. But I was like, okay, the second episode is going to go right to the color. We're going to start getting things rolling in. Yep. We're going to start building on this mystery that we revealed at the end of the first episode. And then we go to the second episode, and I'm like, a talent show? We're focused. Yeah. Wait. There's no color yet?
Yep.
This is... Because my first thought was we got 2 episodes because the first one, you need the second one. Like you need... No, both episodes are the same concept.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand the criticism of the show. I'm enjoying it. Were I not watching it with my wife, who is also like an old school TV expert, I would not be having as much. I'd be like, all right... Let's go. But for now, I'm like, no, this is kind of fun.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like she walked outside and she found that colored device thing, the drone, I think.
Here's the thing,
and she's looking at that, and I'm like, oh, cool. We're going into the mystery now. Like this is gonna. And she's like, nope, talent show. I'm like,
yeah. But I will say this. I think when it gets closer to the shows that you watched, you know, like when it gets to like the Full House era, I think people are going to be more excited and interested because it's like, oh, well, I remember this show. Like, no one, you know what I mean? Like, by and large, I imagine that the target demographic for WandaVision, or at least the expected target demographic, don't remember the shows they're even referencing. By the way, they're doing an excellent job of doing it, by the way. But like...
Oh, they are, yeah.
But as it gets closer to the shows that you do remember, you're going to be like, oh, cool. Like, look at that. Wow. Like, look at them hitting on all the tropes. So, I'd say hang in there. But, again, it's a show, so you could just wait and watch it all later.
And this may be one of those shows that's the kind of, like, it should have just come out all at once.
Yeah.
This show seems structured like a very long movie. Mm-hmm. Like, we were supposed to go from each an individual thing, but at the same time, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. We really can't judge that hard on the first 2 episodes. The third one's going to be the big selling point, I think, for where a lot of people are going to get it or drop off.
Did you see how a lot of influencers, neither of us included clearly, got to see the first 3 episodes?
No.
They got like early access to the first 3, and I'm like, I wonder why it was the first 3. Because we only got the first, we've only seen the first 2, and that I think that third one is where the turn is coming.
Sal, the trick is you just need to do a movie review show every week.
That's a good point. Yes, regardless of my popularity, apparently. But yeah, no. So yeah, I'd still recommend it. But I'd warn people. If people were like, "Oh, I want to jump in," I'd be like, "Now I should tell you." There will be 2 full episodes of old shows. It's going to be that.
I don't know. It's going to be weird in general.
Yeah.
I don't really have much more to say about it other than I got to see where it goes. And
Totally.
I think I'd be interested, as much as I'm kind of like not digging how slow the burn is.
Right.
I think I would still watch at least the first batch of episodes before I completely was like, all right, I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
done.
At least wait until the turn, because it's coming.
So as we're talking about shows, I'm going to take a second to tangent because we're well known for that.
Yeah.
I started watching the show Snowpiercer. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
Don't bother.
Should I see the movie instead that came out like only 2 years earlier?
The movie's great. The movie's really good. I love the movie. Makes you feel claustrophobic and you get to see the grueling nature of things. But it's one of those concepts. Like I just want to bring this up. Concepts that don't translate well into TV show format. Maybe I can make a whole episode of my other podcast.
Yeah.
Of this. But the idea of Snowpiercer is that there's a train that has the last survivors of humanity traveling around the world with the upper class and the lower class, and the lower class is stuck on the back end of the train and they're fighting their way up.
Yep.
That works for a movie concept, but when you put it into a TV show format,
Yeah.
a lot of questions start coming up. How are they surviving? How are they pulling 1,000 cars? How are we keeping heat? You mean to tell me for 5 years people have been stuck in the tail of the train and no one's done anything about it? They're just kind of like, well, that's the lower class.
Right.
Like,
yeah, if the Titanic were like a week longer and they didn't hit the iceberg, steerage would have taken over and eaten the upper class. Like, it only would have taken like a couple of days.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way that it doesn't hold for like and then it gets even weirder because like in the movie everything looked like a train car. He was trying to go for that cinematography of making you feel cramped in close quarters of a train, but they don't seem to know how big a train car should be on the show. Like,
yeah.
We have one episode where they're just walking down a hallway and they're like, oh, it's a train car, and then they go in the next one. It's like it's a nightclub. What? With multiple floors?
Right.
Okay. And and the next one's a really cramped up area where we keep the cattle. And the one after that is an indoor ocean where we breed seafood. What?
Okay.
This doesn't work.
Right. I mean, if you're not on board for society is on an ever-moving train, it's like you're probably not going to go for the minutia.
Natalie and I have gotten like 5 episodes in, right? And we just keep watching because there's like nothing else to watch right now. And every episode, I'm like, that doesn't work as a train car. Like,
right. No. That's why I don't watch that show. I'm like, no. I'm already like, I'm not going to watch that. Maybe I'll see the movie.
I like the overall idea of the lower class trying to fight their way up, but I'm also sitting around there like, so you mean to tell me in 5 years they've just kept the lower class stuck in the back end of the train without even giving them sunlight?
Right? Like,
and the only thing that they've done is whine about it.
Yeah. At no point did they decide to move the next car. I mean, I'm sure they got guns.
They show them
or
attempting it one time, and they're like, "Oh, the guns stopped us. We lost so many people trying for it." But I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, there's just so many things that aren't working for this.
Right.
You know,
maybe leave. Maybe get out of the train. Go on the other side. I don't know.
And then there's also the argument of like, well, they should just accept us as the third tier class and we should eat the same food as them. I'm like, no, because do you not realize that the train has everything perfectly measured out? That's why you're back here. Like, you bum rushed a train hoping to get on it. Like,
Right.
oh, anyway.
Fair enough. Yeah. I wish I could contribute more, but yeah.
No, I more wanted to whine about it for a moment. Like,
That's fair.
why is this a show?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, ka-ching. Why are they making a Lord of the Rings show when we have 3 perfect movies? I don't know.
Lord of the Rings show at least makes sense. I don't care what you say. I want to see more in that universe.
I'm good. We're good.
Yeah, whatever. This is why we're not friends anymore. Anyway, moving on.
Future state impressions.
Future state. Yep. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
tell it.
you have them in front of you. Please go for it.
Future state impressions. What do you overall think?
Meh.
I could take half of them and leave half of them.
I could take 1/10 of them.
Like, no, I am gonna say the timeline. There is a timeline. Every fan in the world apparently had access to this except us.
I know. And then I saw it and I'm like, well, that makes sense. Okay, why would you do that? But yeah.
Like this latest week, I'm like, oh, Superman War at the Worlds. That sounds cool. It's 19 pages. And then it's characters that have nothing to do with the Superman family. Mm-hmm. To the point where when we were writing it up for the video, I told Andy, I'm like, just do Superman.
Yeah.
No one cares about anybody in the back. And then I got to the very back, dude, and it's like, this is the Black Racer comic. Now, of all the new character ideas, I'm like, Black Racer. That is the god of death and the new gods. This is going to be so cool. What are they going to go around the universe trying to take some really big, like, dark side soul or something? No, it's a future story about a black woman racing. The name is literal.
Oh, that's like, okay. What a bait and switch. Damn.
And I'm just like, like, everyone whines and complains about, like, racism. Isn't just dubbing the Black Racer literally a black woman racing? Why is nobody... Man, that's really racist of you. Plus, you also bait and switched us for this really cool character in DC.
Right.
Like,
I don't know, man. That's,
I got, like, 3 pages in, and I started flipping and like, wait, where's the god of death? Where's the...
Nah,
oh my
we
God,
gotcha.
it's about her.
Gotcha. Comics should not be gotcha. Like, no.
The Black Racer is a literal name.
Damn.
There's a Midnight comic in there, which I'm like, that's kind of cool, but why is it in Superman? Wouldn't this be a backup to Batman?
Because you wouldn't have bought it.
What, it wouldn't have bought Superman?
Yep. Because you wouldn't have bought Midnighter. Like,
well, yeah, but why isn't he a backup to like a Batman or Nightwing book?
It's the same deal. Like, why is the Justice League Dark backup in the Justice League book and not in the back of the Swamp Thing book? Since Ram V is writing both series. And Swamp Thing makes sense to be tethered to Justice League Dark because no one would have bought it. Because they knew the numbers for Swamp Thing were going to be super low. So they couched it with the Justice League book. It's like, why did Midnighter go in Superman? Because we have 4 books that are like, where's Superman? And here's the book that tells you where he is. And you're probably not going to buy the Midnighter book because we sold a Midnighter book and then we didn't. So here it is in our Superman book.
The other one that came out this week that I just... is Immortal Wonder Woman. Now, I went into this expecting... Okay, well, don't worry. You didn't miss anything. I went into this expecting, okay, cool. So this is the follow-up. She's a god. She's been living... looking at the timeline everyone sent me, it's in the year 4000. So I'm like, okay, end of time Wonder Woman story. This could be cool. Dude, it's the same bullshit Wonder Woman story we get all the time. She's whining because all of her friends are gone and she's looking for hope. And oh no, there's an evil coming to the planet. She has to stand up to it again. And I'm just like...
We just saw that.
Literally just... That was the death metal plot.
Yeah, and we just saw that. Even if it's completely different, it's like, if you break it down by its basic elements to be... Wonder Woman fights a great cosmic evil, I'm like, pass. If you say great cosmic anything in DC, I'm out. I'm out for a good long time.
Yeah.
We're good.
And not only that, I think it's Darkseid. I don't even remember now, but I think it was Darkseid, and he was fighting against a Superman who was apparently alive in the year 4000, but with entirely white hair. And it's Darkseid again, and I'm also thinking, like, she fought Darkseid, literally, not as a god. Like, that literally happened. She killed him.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why I bought Superman. That was it. I was like, I want to see Planet
Batman,
Hulk.
I liked that. I liked what they do with next Batman still.
I found it like I think it's fine. It's just a little boring.
What, Batman?
Yeah.
I
did like Dark Detective, though.
Dark Detective was really good. I liked that.
Hey,
the problem, I think, with... What?
Mariko Tamaki's writing it. We were talking about that. She did a good job.
Yeah. I will admit it. Yes, I am really liking Dark Detective.
Me too.
And I guess that explains how she got on Detective Comics afterwards. Because Dark Detective is really good. It's a fun idea. I hate tearing down superheroes, but it's a tear down of Bruce Wayne, and then immediately he's back to Batman.
Literally, he's like, well, what am I going to do in this world where I'm Batman? And it's like, and it's like, you know what? Like, taking Jon Stewart's ring, that sucks. But making Batman have to do the same... Batman training and getting better is like every Batman story. So
that is every Batman.
You're good. Like, I'm in.
Batman's basically Goku of DC Comics, where it's like, I'm the strongest that there is. Oh, no, I'm not. Hold on.
Yeah, and then I get a little better, or I add some cool armor or something. I mean, Goku doesn't have armor, but you know what I mean.
I wouldn't doubt that happens at some point with the... Yeah, well, right now he's a god, so I don't know what they're going to do with Goku.
Oh, Goku is? I don't watch...
Yeah, he's the Super Saiyan god. He's got this really cool music. It's called Ultra Instinct. It's like, dun, dun, dun. It's like a callback to classic anime, to current anime. It's really good.
Like Astro Boy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like the old orchestrated stuff that we haven't really heard since like the 80s anime.
Oh, that's kind of
cool. Really
cool.
Good. You should try it out.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yeah, it sounds like both of us are kind of like future state.
I got stuff I do like about it. I like Dark Detective. I don't dislike Next Batman. I feel like this was more intended to be a long-form thing. Totally. That Next Batman, this was supposed to be the introduction, and then we were going to start seeing some really good stuff. So I'm not against it, but I feel like they got the short end of the stick by 5G being canceled.
Yeah.
I don't like Green Lantern at all just because it feels the exact same story we've done 1,001 times. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman, Immortal Wonder, the art was beautiful, but other than that, it's like this is the same story that you always tell with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Teen Titans, I don't know what is happening in that, but they're referencing the Wally West stuff from The Flash, and I'm just like, what is going on with either one of these? Uh-huh. And you know what doesn't even make even less sense? Teen Titans, apparently, Nightwing's turned into Deathstroke now, but there's a Nightwing book.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And he's not Deathstroke in that book.
No. Well, it's a different time.
Catwoman was fun. I didn't read the backup. Andy read the backup, but he's like, we shouldn't add this in because it contradicts what Wonder Woman did in her book. And I'm like, wait, how is it the backup to the book and it contradicts it in the same exact book?
Oh my god.
Dug that one. I'm trying to think who else came out like this week and last week. Mm-hmm. The problem is a lot of them are just forgettable. I think overall. Even if you're like, it wasn't terrible, I can't think of most of them.
Yeah, I think Shazam came out this week, didn't it?
I didn't read Shazam.
Neither did I.
According to Dan, it's good. Dan, what's your opinion on Shazam? He doesn't have a microphone. What is it, Dan? Good? It's good.
All right.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting for Infinite Frontier at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's the time to jump on. Like, woohoo. Infinite Frontier.
Well, it is. Everyone's like, how do I get into DC? I will say, Marvel. Yeah, well, DC gives these very clear jumping on points at New 52, DC Rebirth, and now it's Infinite Frontier. Marvel likes to go, it's kind of a reboot now.
Uh-huh.
Just go get Spider-Man 793 to be fine.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, what's the next topic, Sal?
Oh, the next topic is Snyder Cut. Do we want to wait on that one?
Why?
All right, Snyder Cut's going to be reformatted. It's not going to be a 4-episode series. It's going to be a 4-hour-long movie.
I did see a reason behind this. I was reading the article. Actually, the article Dan read. If you read the article, the reasoning makes sense.
Yeah.
Breaking it down into 4 episodes over the course of a month does not bolster HBO Max sales.
No.
Because you sign up, you can still watch it all in a month and then just cancel. Yep. So it's going to break up the movie and not make it a complete thing. So why not just release it as a full 4-hour thing?
Exactly. It's also not structured to be a movie. It's structured to be a movie.
Yeah, it would be awkward cliffhangers probably.
Yeah, and I don't want to watch that. I would have just watched it as a movie anyway, so fine.
Yeah, the only comment you and I both made before this is, I'm not sitting down and watching a 4-hour movie where half of it's footage I've already seen.
That's true.
Like, I'm not going to sit and watch it all back to back. I'll watch a chunk. I'll watch a chunk. I'll watch a chunk. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to watch it, but.
Yeah.
Because at least an hour and a half of that's going to be footage we've already seen, just recolor graded.
Yes. Back to dark.
But no, I think it's a better idea. I do.
Yeah, I thought that was what we were gonna get, so here it is.
And then they were like, we're making it into a series, and I'm like,
Wait, that sucks.
What? All right, so what's up next?
Kevin Feige promises to open up about the upcoming Secret Invasion series to Disney Plus and says key elements of the comic will remain even if the massive roster of characters does not.
I hate that show. I hate that show.
I can't believe they're doing Secret Invasion.
I can't believe they're doing it in the way they're doing it. This is exactly how they did Civil War. They did Civil War too early. They didn't give us the characters. We got like a couple guys duking it out in an airport when we could have had this massive battle that should have been like phase 29.
That seemed, it was
Secret
cool.
Invasion.
I'm thrilled. I like Civil War exactly as it is. I wouldn't change a thing.
What, the movie?
Yep.
You're wrong. That was a waste.
Nah.
It could have been so much better. Think about the amount of superheroes we have now.
Yeah, we got Endgame. I don't want to watch them fight. I want to watch them fight together against bad guys.
But they should have fought way down the road is my point. It shouldn't have happened this early in the entire MCU. They've got a plan for like the next 20 years. We could have had the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. We could have had the entire new Avenger. Oh my God. Yes, you do.
Nope,
I don't care what you're saying. You want to see them fight.
Nope. I hated Avengers X-Men. I don't like Civil War was gut-wrenching, the book. No.
Then you're in the minority. We should have had more.
I am in the minority. But no. I don't like it.
Secret Invasion, I don't think should be a TV show. It should be where the phase goes, and that should be like
the movie.
Oh my God, half the roster was aliens. How do we deal with that? You know what I mean? Like
I agree. I think that the only reason why it is a show is because they are going full tilt Disney Plus. I think it would have been whatever movie franchise would, like Captain America Secret Invasion. It would have been whatever movie franchise it was going to be. Like Captain Marvel's Secret Invasion. That would have been the movie. But because they're like all in on Disney Plus and they're all in on streaming, I think they're like, no. You will see this show and then the fallout will be felt in the movies and stuff. And it's like, okay.
Basically, what he's saying is that we're going to see more things popping up about it, and it's going to come together in that show. But I don't know. It's if the way it's being described almost sounds like don't watch the show if you haven't seen the entire MCU.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's watching WandaVision that hasn't seen anything about Wanda.
I won't argue against that. I mean, regardless of my point of view on them, they should have made the TV shows, the movies, individual movies.
Yeah.
None of that matters because I agree, majority of people are going to be MCU fans who watch all this stuff.
Right.
And I will say, if they do this with Secret Invasion, where it's kind of intended to be like you watched all the shows, at least they did it on Disney Plus, where it's very segregated and it's very obvious, like, because if you look into it now, if you click WandaVision, it says, check out the history of Wanda.
Yes.
So, like, it's super easy for them to do this kind of a thing and to link it together and make it obvious you should have watched this. My complaint with Endgame was it wasn't that obvious that you should have watched everything. You know what I mean? Like, it was still just a standalone movie.
I think that it wasn't obvious from a marketing standpoint, but more of a cultural thing, where it's like, no one was going to go see Endgame who was like, what is this? You mean
there was people though.
There were Marvel movies. Yeah, they're called like 80-year-old people. Like
I agree, and I do agree that it's fine the way it is. I'm not arguing against that at all. I've just made this point a dozen times. I'm just saying if you're going to do a big crossover finale,
yeah,
Secret Invasion I think is a better way to do it if you're going to pepper it into everything else. So we're going to get it, and then this is where Nick Fury's dealing with it.
I just hope that if the Secret Invasion show is literally like the Secret Invasion book, where it's like it all happens here, and then we're dealing with the fallout of the invasion being over afterwards. Not like Secret Invasion, the show sets up the fact that everyone's a Skrull, and we're gonna have to deal with it in a movie someday. Like, no, it all is like relegated to this show. Like,
right, is where it's handled and done.
Revelations, battles, kill Vernaki, end of Skrull thing in this show.
End of Skrull thing.
Right? Like that. I don't want this to be a thing that just never stops.
I agree with you on that one. I do. All right, so moving forward, I'll look at the next one.
Yeah.
There's an announcement of the new Spider-Man comic by Chip Zdarsky. I think it'll be fun.
Woo!
They do a lot of these what if Spider-Man stories, though.
Yes, but this is a what if mini series. Zdarsky is approaching this from being like, how come the What If books are always so crappy? Because What If books, for by and large, and there are a couple of gems, and there are a couple of like isolated incidents in which What If was like done by premier creators, but by and large, the What If series were like talent scout books. Do you want to draw a Marvel book? Can you make this issue? Like right now, it doesn't matter, and nobody cares, and like half of our audience will buy it. So it's like, if you grab like any old random What If book, odds are the art is like not quite there yet. The writing is kind of fast, like hastily put together, and it's just a little like audition. But What If is such a great concept and has a show coming up from Disney Plus. So let's treat that in a way where it's like, what if top creators did a whole and didn't relegate the concept of like, what if Spider-Man became Venom to one issue, and instead like explored it for like 4 issues with like great art and a good writer. I like
the idea, and I think they were testing the idea out with that whole Symbiote Spider-Man line of books. Which, by the way, initially cool idea. Now it's just like everyone was Symbiote Spider-Man at some point, and he had all these adventures that we didn't know existed.
I know.
Which involved him running into villains that didn't even exist for another 10 years. And
but I will say I have not read most of the series. I read the first full series, and I read some of the second chapter, the second part. And Peter David, great writer, knows the stuff. He knows the era because he wrote Spider-Man during that time, and he worked for Marvel during that time. And he does a nice job, like Jerry Conway, of like being a classic writer who's writing today and makes it have that like that panache of the old, but have the contemporary sensibilities. I just wish Greg Land wasn't drawing it. That's the only thing that kills it for me. I'm like, don't put him. But the only reason why he is drawing it is because he's fast, and it's like it'll be out. Yeah, like I can't argue with that. But I'm excited for this book.
No, I'm excited. I do like all these what ifs. Even the J.J. Abrams one, which was obviously not supposed to be a comic book. Did you finish that?
No.
The finale wasn't terrible.
Okay.
And when it all comes together, it's not terrible. It feels like just he wrote a movie and they broke it up into a comic book. That's literally what it is. That was his pitch for the movie. And they were like, we can make it into a comic, JJ.
Right. And give your son a writing credit.
Yeah, exactly. Next one is the Batman the Animated Sequel series is supposedly coming to HBO Max. They're doing that in comic form right now.
I know. Yeah, we have a book already. I assume that like internally the numbers are just really good for the animated series.
The only thing I don't understand is why is it in 2020 we're finally getting follow-ups in the animated series?
Because they didn't have like an internal streaming service that was contingent upon subscribers and success. Like before it was like, are you going to buy the DVD? No? Well, then I don't care about you. We spent $1 trillion to make this thing no one asked for? Well, we desperately need you to pay like $10 a month for it. What would you like? We'll put it on there. And every subscriber counts. Like,
segue real quick. I don't like the HBO Max app.
It's terrible. I do have it, but it is terrible. I don't pay for it, though.
It's not as bad as some of the apps I've used.
Yeah.
But, like, one of the big things that bugs me about it is I can go to Hulu, I can hit stream to my TV, and I can press play, and it'll all work.
Yes.
HBO Max, I have to wait for everything to go through.
Yep.
So I have to hit on TV. Okay, it's on the TV. Okay, now I press play. Okay, now it pulls up the other screen. Okay, now I press play again. Like, it's got so many weird steps and so much weird lag on just using it, like all my other apps.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Tiffany doesn't like the sound effect it makes when you click over.
I don't have my phone on mute. I don't even know what makes the sound effect.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Like Disney Plus and like Netflix does. It's just like that clicking.
Wait, they all make sound effects?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm turning my phone on right now.
I think it might only be with the TV version, but give it a try.
Hold on, I'm looking at this. Let's see if I got it over the mic. Let's see.
Okay.
It doesn't make noise.
It's on your phone.
It doesn't make noise.
Well,
Sal.
trust me, it does, and she doesn't like it. That's the only critique I've heard out loud about HBO Max. I have it because I have AT&T as a cell phone provider, so it's free. And I'm like, I'm not an idiot. I'm definitely going to subscribe. Like,
Can we talk about this real quick? Because I've seen this pop up on my HBO Max.
Yeah.
Why are we making movies about the lockdown?
Oh, Like anyone's gonna watch that.
Oh man, I'm stuck in the house and I'm having all kinds of like social anxieties, and even an extrovert like me is just going insane sitting in his house all day.
Yeah,
Let's watch a movie about it.
That literally, like, we're gonna get a bunch of movies and shows and references, people walking around with masks, and
I don't mind the masks because, like, I'm watching the show Superstore, and they make jokes about people being dumb about the masks and wearing the masks, and that's fine. It's all, what's it, timely humor.
Sure.
That episode will make no sense in so many years.
Yeah, it'll very much be like a time capsule.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, I'm living it, and I don't want to hear about it.
That's it. In Lockdown, apparently, the movie on HBO is like a love story. I mean, Dan already cries into his pillow every night because he can't get Tinder to work properly. He doesn't want to be going on there and watching somebody else cry into their pillow every night. He's giving me sad eyes.
I never saw any of the 9/11 movies either. I was there.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
I don't know. It's a weird decision to do that. To like, I will say I do like how one show handled the pandemic and acknowledged it existed. Do you watch the show Last Man Standing?
No, but I know what show that is. That's the Tim Allen show, right?
That's the Tim Allen show, right? Where he just did Home Improvement again.
By the way, he met Tim the Toolman Taylor. How was that? Was that fun?
That was actually a lot more fun than it should have been. Like,
yay, because I liked Home Improvement when it was on.
Yeah. So anyway, what they did, when he met him, it was like Tim. Apparently, the show closed up. He moved on. He now just works for Binford Tools as one of the higher ups.
Okay.
And that's how they met. Like, basically, Tim had heard that there's a guy that looks like him.
Oh, okay.
So he volunteered to go fix their stuff, and he turned like the garbage disposal into like a missile launcher, basically.
Is Last Man Standing in Michigan?
Oh, what? The show takes place in Colorado.
Oh no! So they moved?
What do you mean?
At the end of Home Improvement, there was a question of whether they were going to sell the house and move, or if they weren't. Like, there's no follow-up. We have no idea what they decided to do.
I don't remember if they acknowledge where he lives. He doesn't live in Colorado. He actually...
Okay, good.
It was like a call-in thing for some special deal to get the thing fixed.
So it was like a business trip. That's why, like, Wilson wasn't there. Also, he's dead.
Right. And they made jokes about Wilson and stuff like that. Like, they were talking to each other more, like, intimately. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking to people where I can see their whole face. But anyway... Cool. Last Man Standing did the pandemic in a fun way. They open up the first episode of the pandemic. They're all acknowledging the pandemic's a thing, and then because he does vlogs in the show, that's like his whole thing. He makes these like manly vlogs, and the joke is, well, I'm going to shave my beard when the pandemic's over, and he's like, and I guess they played it safe because of like 2020, 2021. 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. They're like, oh man, that pandemic is crazy. And the show just jumps to 2025 and moves forward. And like they even put in like one of the girls had a baby, and like it's just it's kind of like a soft reboot moving forward.
That's kind of smart. Good for them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they got to bring it, like they swapped up the cast a little bit. Everybody's in a new place in their life. So the last couple of episodes have been like, oh, well, what's this person been doing? And what's this person been doing? And so it's kind of cool. I like the way they're handling it because they acknowledge it, but they're not sticking with it. Yeah. While the show Superstore, this whole season is going to be very time capsule-y.
Yeah. Yeah. But Batman the Animated Series, if Bob Hastings and Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. are in it, I don't give a crap. That's Gordon and Alfred. They're dead. So you can't do that. Let me ask
you this. What will you do if the show does come back and it comes back in 3 months and it opens up with Batman having to put a mask on?
I will turn it off.
In Gotham.
I'm not here for weird. The other thing is, like, I've seen what Warner Brothers does when they return to Batman the Animated Series. Like, there was a horrible movie a long time ago called Batman Mystery of the Batwoman.
I remember that.
It is atrocious. Like, it is just awful. And
Batwoman's not even like any version of Batwoman we know in it.
They made it up and they got Kelly Ripa to do the voice. Eat me. It was so horrible. And like didn't get random voice actors who they clearly could have gotten. Like they just recast Penguin for no good reason. Bane, different actor. Like, what are you doing? You set it in this universe. You made a movie. You could get everyone back and you didn't. And it only got worse from there. Have you seen that Harley Quinn movie that Bruce Timm wrote?
Oh, yeah, where she basically rapes Nightwing, I thought?
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it. I heard about that scene.
He's into it.
Is he?
Yeah.
I love the way I mean,
Yeah, but like
for what I've seen on that scene, it does seem into it. I just didn't know how they got to him tied up in the bed.
So I was
like, oh, okay, because everyone's like, she raped Nightwing, and I'm like, oh, I mean, he seems pretty into it, but I don't know what happened before this. So
he could have very easily freed himself, and he very easily does not. But it's like, but it's it's so bad, and the animation's terrible, and it's like, it's just
it's like
so
when they tried to
awful.
put Killing Joke in the universe. They're like,
they just got the voice actors. That's just an adaptation of.
Then they also brought in like the whole weird fantasy of Batgirl from Bruce.
That's
Timm.
just because Bruce Timm was helping to produce the show or the movie.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they set it in that universe still.
They did. But I think that, but it's still written by Azzarello. I think that was just Azzarello's creepy weirdo like interpretation of their intimacy / Bruce Timm being like, and also Bruce and Barbara got a bang, and it's like, dude, what? Only you like that. Only you. No one else likes that.
No, you know what it is? It's the 60-year-old writers, now doing the weird fantasy thing of like the 20-something college co-ed.
Yeah. Yeah,
if I was
she
Batman,
wants it.
She'd be into me.
Nope, not even then.
Oh, come on. I think Batman can get any girl he wants.
I think that once he tries to talk to her, he loses it. She'll be like, "Oh my God, you're insane."
How you doing? Yeah, I do vengeance at night. I have money.
Okay, I'm down for the money thing, but the vengeance part, pass.
Vengeance, yeah. I avenged my parents' death from when I was 5 and they got shot. And I've been doing this for like 40 years.
Yeah,
I stopped crime in Gotham by putting them in Arkham so they can get out. And then I can do it again. It's a circle. It's a circular. It's a whole thing on the justice system. Where are you going?
Yeah, it sounds like you haven't really thought this through.
I got a
I'll see
Lamborghini.
Yeah, it's not worth it. There's other rich characters in this universe.
Like Ollie, he has fun with it.
Ollie at least seems well adjusted. But yeah,
seems
no.
well-adjusted?
Pass. Batman animated series.
Anybody who's a vigilante, I'm going to argue, is not well adjusted, Sal.
He seems to enjoy his work, is what I'll say. Anyway, Batman the animated series. I don't even know if they'll do it. If they do, you know what you should do? Bring back Batman Beyond.
Yes. But
That's
even
all.
that, the thing is, both those series have had actual continuations in the comics. They have all these plots they could easily work with. You know what? I'd rather see something in the animated universe.
Yeah.
That is a new thing, but just like Justice League Unlimited, we do see Batman, we do see Superman. We could bring back more of that universe instead of just being like, more Batman.
Yeah. You know what would be actually, this is my pitch based on what you just said. Because, like, you could just do Justice League Unlimited 2 because everyone wants that, including the entire cast. Yeah. If you want to scale it down a little bit and save some money but still, like, hit the Batman thing, make it World's Finest or Trinity. And the show it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Sometimes they team up with other characters. Shira shows up in one episode. Jon Stewart shows up in another episode. Blah, blah, blah. But it's about them. And it's about them interacting, so you don't have to go to Gotham and deal with Gordon and cry because Bob Hastings can't do the voice. He doesn't go deal with Alfred, or if you do recast him, whatever, it's sad. But at the same time, it's just focused on the superhero adventures of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. That's it.
I would agree. I think that'd be great. I am a huge Batman fan, but if we're going to bring back that universe, I don't want more direct Batman. I want more of that universe. I like the Justice League Unlimited, and plus we have a higher chance of getting Kevin Conroy if you're not bringing him back in for like a 20-episode series, and he's just doing Batman for segments with the rest of the cast that he's been on board with going back to.
He was in that Justice League action show. He'll come back for a Trinity show.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But we might not get him back if we just do. Oh, well, can you do 20-something episodes? Isn't Kevin Conroy like 70 now?
Yeah, he's in his 60s, I think, or at least maybe he might be 70. But like, he's not going to stand and do 100 million takes. Like, he's not Batman in the video games anymore because he's like, I can't be in the booth for like 20 hours every goddamn week. Like, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, he's just getting to that age.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill will be there no matter what. That dude's just all over the place now.
I know, but he sounds old. Like, he's doesn't sound like Joker anymore. He sounds like old
I don't know if you're aware of this, Sal, but he did age.
I know. So get another Joker. I'm sorry. I love Mark Hamill. I think he's the best. I think he's definitive Joker. But he sounds like old Joker now.
We're going to be having this talk when we're 50. Man, they should really bring back Kevin Conroy. He still got it in his 80s.
Listen, the thing about Batman Beyond is Kevin Conroy can play Bruce Wayne until he dies.
That's true. All right, let's move on to our last topic here. I do think we need to talk about this before we start setting back up for Jim Zub's interview.
Yep.
Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman will conclude their run of Venom with Venom number 200 coming in April.
Did this come out of left field for anybody else? Did they announce they were going to do this, or is this the first time we heard this? Because this is the first time
first time we've heard this, but I will say this reminds me of the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. We're done, but we're not.
I would say that, but Cates has like 17 different books he's writing and could go in any direction, including DC, and he would probably I feel like when it comes to Batman, you constantly have to come back to it because it's just too big to refuse. With Venom, it's like I've done a lot of issues of Venom. Like, how many more things could I possibly say about Eddie Brock?
In all honesty, I feel like Null is his swan song.
Yeah.
He's been setting up Null since he got here. His first arc on the Venom book was to bring in Null, the Grendel, the whole situation we're dealing with now.
Yep.
I feel like this is like he's telling the story he wants to tell and he wants to move on. He's telling a great story over in Thor with Donald Blake. His Guardians, I've only read the first 3 issues, but then I kind of fell off there. Mm-hmm. But then reading issue 10 for the King of Black thing, I'm like, well, I got to see what happened between 3 and now because holy shit.
Yeah. That's the only one people are not like, you got to read it. Like everything else he's written, like his Silver Surfer Black was incredible.
I feel like the problem with Guardians is it's a slow burn. So it's better when it's in bulk because when the first 3 issues came out, it was a lot of like, where's this guy? Oh, this guy's not on the team. Oh, this. Plus, he's coming out. The problem with his Guardians is he's trying to make his own Guardians with more classic Guardians, which is not what people recognize anymore thanks to that movie.
No.
Instead of being an interchangeable team, the Guardians is the movie team now, as far as everyone is concerned.
Which makes sense.
So what he's doing with Richard Rider and and Phyla and Moondragon.
Yep.
Unless you're a Guardian, like a hardcore Guardians fan, and I'll tell you guys right now, a lot of people are like, oh, I've been reading Guardians just forever. No,
where's
you
Vance
weren't.
Astro?
there's like 20 people that was reading classic Guardians because it obviously didn't sell at all. Yeah, they even put them into a giant event and they couldn't get it to sell.
Yeah.
Ewing is. We're talking about Josh in our chat. We're talking about books he's been on, is what we're saying. Like he's got a lot of books under his belt.
It's true.
Do we know when his run on Thor ends? Is it after this Donald Blake thing?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just it depends on how long it's running because it's ending in April. He's got Venom wrapped up. I don't think he said anything about Thor.
Well, I'm just saying because if Venom's wrapping up, and I wasn't aware that he did get off of Guardians, but we are saying he was writing it. If he's off of Guardians already, what does that leave him on other than Thor?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's kind of it.
So maybe he is planning like a big move.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame him. Because he's kind of said everything he needs to say.
So, yeah, maybe
cool.
Maybe he's power playing it. Maybe he's like, I'll quit in April, and then whoever wants to offer me the bigger check gets me to write books.
The thing is, now that Cates has made his mark, he can write his own ticket. He can do whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah, he definitely can. Oh, yeah, he is doing the indie stuff, too. That's right. What's that one, Crossover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
I haven't read it yet, but I've heard good things.
It's fine.
It's okay?
It's okay. It's not the second coming like everybody said it was going to be.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I heard was that this is amazing. You got to read his indie stuff. And I'm like, no. To get me to read anybody's indie stuff, you need one hell of a hook.
God Country you'd enjoy if you haven't already read that.
But what I'm saying is like normally with the indie stuff, like I really need to want to read that.
Yes.
Very few indie books. And this isn't because I dislike indie. I actually prefer indie over the superhero books. But when I have to read 10 to 40 books a month of just superheroes, I have a lot of other hobbies, guys.
Yeah, there's only just so many hours in the day.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm against indie, but to get me to read an indie book, it has to be freaking amazing for me to want to actually sit down and read that thing.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, it's too bad, but all right. Makes sense.
Let's start wrapping up because we got Jim waiting here for us.
I know.
So thank you guys for watching today's normal episode of Absolute Comics, filmed every Tuesday at about 5 p.m. Eastern right here at the Comic Historian Podcast Network, twitch.tv/comicstorian. If you want to support the show, consider going to G Fuel and using the code COMICS at checkout to get yourself 10% off of your order, sometimes 30% depending on when you're doing it. Also sub right here at Twitch to keep the show going, or going to either Patreon, patreon.com/comicpop or patreon.com/comicstorian. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we will see you next week right here at Absolute Comics. If you are watching live, stick around. We're about to talk to Jim Zub about Conan the Barbarian.